before COVID, you'd visit the factories and you'd do discovery there.
Yeah.
How has, like, right now you can't visit the factories, so you're doing more higher level discovery.
Yeah.
Do you find that discovery has suffered because of that, or have you overcome that somehow?
I would say that it was a challenge initially. Right, 3.5 years ago, it was a real struggle because all of a sudden everything shut down.
Right.
And we went, oh, how are we gonna, like, everyone just obviously sort of panicked a little bit. I would say that it's not suffered now. I would say that it's evolved. And I think one of my kind of philosophies, one of my things that I talk about on LinkedIn a lot is how what happened over the last 3.5 years has really accelerated the pace of progress in sales engineering and how we engage. And if you talk about discovery in particular, let's talk about everyone's favorite topic, which is disco demos, right? We get into that because when you're because it's like everyone's time suddenly kind of got condensed. So everyone's calendars filled up with Teams meetings. The amount of time that we have to engage with customers got condensed. So, and then you're then into I've now got to do disco demos and stuff. And in reality, when I was going on site, we would probably do some kind of demo in that time, but that would be half a day that we'd have.
Right.
And there'll be a component of it that'll be a factory tool, there'll be a component of it that will be a demo, there'll be a component that will be the sort of general discussion. And that's all now just been squeezed into like these 1 hour blocks where you need to find out enough information to know, is this real? Do we have a solution? Are we going to fit, into their price bracket? And what do I need to show them in the next call to convince them that we've got something for them? So discovery's really had to, I like the word pivot and change and evolve. And say now my discovery calls are much more. I'll do that research up front. I'll kind of look up the company, and I think it's become a lot more like, rather than you going and asking people a bunch of questions, you need to look up and it's good practice. It was always good practice before, but I think the onus is now on SEs in particular. Understand that company, understand their industry, because 9 times out of 10 they're going to have the same challenges, broadly the same challenges, and you can kind of say, okay, so we know from other customers that you do this, that this is a common thing we see. Is that a challenge you have? And that helps to kind of get to where you need to be much quicker than if you're kind of going through the old-fashioned discovery of how does your process work today? What tools are you using? What systems are you using?
Right.
Because that just chews up time. And everyone's like, I don't have time. I have to jump from this call to the next call, to the next call, to the next call. Can we just, show me a demo, give me the price?
Yeah. I mean, you were mentioning earlier that it was transactional and less value-based. It sounds like it's more transactional now because you don't get to build those relationships. You don't get to, you're showing value within like a half hour, like disco demo. So how does it feel for you? Like, is it working for you? Do you like it? Do you enjoy it that way? Because I think I wouldn't enjoy it that way, but I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, sure. So I think the transactional side was, so one of the things was the kind of the history of the company, and a lot of the products we used to sell was smaller value deals, and that's where it was the transactional stuff. Because it was like, it was a product, had a very specific use case. It was much more like a widget. Like someone comes to you and says, "Hey, boy, I need a pen." Okay, I've got a pen. You can buy the pen. Now I'm saying, they're like, right, I need a solution because I have to get a stationery supplier that needs to fit all of these requirements, and that's pens, pencils, erasers, rulers. Can you give me an overview of what, and I want that to come on a regular basis. And the relationship thing is really interesting because I actually find that, and this isn't true with everyone, but where people are at home and people are more remote, is it's actually opened up some opportunities just that you wouldn't get in a kind of conventional business setting. Because if you go onto a customer site and you sit there and you're suited and booted and you have it. It's much more formal.
Yeah.
When everyone's kind of at home, people's kids, people's dogs come in, like things kind of happen. So you kind of have that chance to build that relationship. And I think as an SE, I'm probably now more involved in the sale than I was before.
Okay.
Because it becomes, rather than like one or two big engagements, and then I might help produce a statement of work and then they'll close the deal out. It's now sort of all kind of chopped up. So I think the frustration comes from sometimes being like, we just need to, being able to strike that right balance between giving people the information they're looking for and getting to kind of, getting enough out of it that I can scope the solution correctly. But I think in that you do still have opportunity to build a relationship, because you're not doing that like one big discovery call.
Right.
It often becomes a lot more back and forth over calls, over email. And I think you can still, there's like, it's useful that I'm from a generation that built relationships online.
Right. Yeah.
Because that really helps, right? Because I'm used to building relationships with people just over like forums and social media,
Right.
without having to sit down and meet them face to face. And that's always great. And I still think that nothing beats being in front of people in real life.
Yeah.
But I still think it's not, I don't think that kind of, that sort of splitting up of how that engagement has necessarily damaged how we engage. It just means we've had to adapt.
So I'm hearing many things. I'm going to try to summarize them the way I understand them, and let me know.
Sure, yeah.
One, instead of having one or two big touch points, basically you're splitting up the touch points into multiple smaller ones, which and that seems that it allows to build more relationship because you have more touch points instead of you come in once or twice and then they forget about you.
Yeah.
You're on top of mind. That's one. Two, it's moving from this is how we do things. We do a big discovery and then we come outside and do a big demo, to this is how you need things done. We're going to do small discovery and we're going to give you a taste of what it would look like. And if you're interested, we can keep talking more. So it's like it went from being selfish or this is how we do things to this is how you need things to be done, so we can adapt to that. Does that sound accurate so far?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Okay.
Two words that sum it up. It's buyer enablement.
Yeah.
Is what it is. It's about giving people what they need when they need it.
Right.